Hello everybody, this is Gregory with 5 Minute Catholic Apologetics and Living, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about the founders of different faiths and how you can use the founders of different faiths that are not the Catholic or Orthodox faith to remind these people that they need to prove it and show it. Now before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritui Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filii et Spiritui Sancti, sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et saecula saeculorum. Amen. And we've talked about it here before. Like a lot of people who dislike the Catholic faith, like Fulton Sheen said, dislike what they think the church teaches and not what it actually teaches. But at the same time, these people, whether they be Protestants or atheist agnostics, don't want to put in the time and effort to actually research what the Catholic Church teaches. That's their choice. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But then don't attack the Catholic Church and come off as an expert or a pundit of the Catholic faith when you know nothing about the Catholic faith, nor are you pursuing it. But many times you'll hear people say, well, the Catholic Church is not the true church founded by Jesus Christ. And I think one way to address that is, first of all, ask them what their faith is, what denomination they are, and just ask them who founded your church. Many of them won't even know. A lot of Presbyterians don't know that their church was founded by John Knox in the 16th century. A lot of them don't know that. If you go to the Christian Scientists, most of them know, like Mary Baker Eddy founded their denomination, but there's a lot of just like ignorance about the past in general. Like there's this idea that like the Bible fell from the sky, then they read the Bible, then there was some Martin Luther or John Calvin, depending on what your tradition is, and then you read that, and then like Billy Graham in the 1950s, and then whoever is your mega pastors writing, Max Lucado, Joel Osteen, whoever it is. But just ask them who founded their church. And no matter who and what faith it is, Jesus Christ did not found their church. It was not founded by Jesus Christ. And we can historically say that, whether it be Anglicanism, Presbyterianism, Lutheranism, Assemblies of God, the Mormons, the Jehovah's, these all had human founders. Catholic Church was founded by Jesus on the Rock of Peter, and we have 266 consecutive Peters that exists all the way to Francis I today. Now, you could say that, and you could tell them to ask Siri. We have that video here, who founded the Catholic Church, and you know what Siri's going to say, and then they'll say, well, yeah, but there was an apostasy. Or you can just say, like, okay, well, if Luther founded your church, if you're a Lutheran, even though there's not a lot of Lutherans, but if Luther founded your church in the 1500s, how could that be the true church if Christianity existed for 1,500 years before that? Now, they might say, well, Catholicism was founded by Constantine or something like that. Say, fine, well, there was some form of Christianity then for 1,200 years. What's that? If the Lutheranism is the true faith, then how can you explain the previous hundreds of years? Well, they'll spin the history, they'll say it's some primitive church, they'll say, or maybe, yes, the Catholic Church has always existed, but there was an apostasy. And at that point, then like with a lot of things, you just say, okay, well, then prove the apostasy. See, the onus is not on me to defend the church that's always existed. It's like if Virginia broke off from the United States and created its own country, but called its country the United States of America, everyone would think that's just ridicule, just ridiculous. But history is on the side of those who thought the United States of America was founded in 1776. So again, the onus is not on you. In this case, the onus is not on me. If you think there was an apostasy in whatever century, and depending on which Protestant group it is, they'll give you a different century, then you need to prove it. And we've talked about it. Protestants who read history cease to be Protestants. It's a famous saying by Cardinal Newman. And a lot of Protestants won't read history. They won't read the Apostolic Fathers or Church Fathers. But if they did, they'd see that a lot of the Church Fathers, the Apostolic Fathers, these are the successors of the apostles, the disciples of the apostles, whether it be Justin Martyr, Ignatius of Antioch. We talked about these guys, Polycarp, all these guys. They would see that their writings are very, very Catholic. So in closing, look, just ask them, who founded your church? It was a human. It was not Jesus Christ. Now they might say, well, Jesus founded our church and then it had to go underground because of the Catholic faith was persecuting it, like the Baptists might tell you that. But again, the history doesn't back that up at all. And even if you believe that the Baptist faith had some primitive early Baptist faith that was somehow squelched by the mean Catholics, You cannot find anything that is remotely Baptist theology in the writings of the 1st and 2nd century Christians. You can't. So just remember this when you're talking to people. Guys, post in the comments. Please subscribe, hit the notification button if you haven't done so already. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.